A pleasant good day to each and everyone. My name is Richard Jones, CEO of Jones Advanced Logistics. Today, I will be speaking on the topic, Diversified Energy Sector with Focus on Production to Maximize the Multiplier Effects of the Value Chain. Diversification. Forbes posits that innovation, not diversification, is the key to oil and gas survival. While this may have some merit, diversification also depends on innovation. In fact, the creation of new products and services are crucial to the growth and survival of the oil and gas industry and are needed now more than ever. How can the sector create new products or services that can help the industry to become more self-sufficient, efficient, and realize cost savings? Diversification is usually accompanied by exposure to some level of risk. In business today, companies and/or operators that are not open to take some measure of risk can remain stagnant and in some cases decline or even become irrelevant. Humankind are mainly creatures of habit. In order for the oil and gas industry to grow and, more importantly, survive, operators need to become open to new innovative products and services. In the past, companies that created new products and services struggled to get business from operators simply because they never used the said product or service, and because these products and services are new, the uncertainty that the product or service will work to benefit the operator is their major concern. Nevertheless, operators and companies that create new products and new innovative services need to work together in such a way as to slowly introduce the product or service into the operation. A simple solution may be to start with a little product and a little of the service in order to build trust and to evaluate the effectiveness of the product or service on the operation. The other aspect is the qualification criteria. Most operators require new companies to demonstrate years of experience and a huge sum of capital, as well as other documents that may not be accessible to new startup companies. As such, operators need to reevaluate their qualification criteria in order to facilitate startup companies with new products or services. Focus on production. Why is it important to focus on production in order to maximize the multiplier effects on the value chain? Well, in order for diversification to occur, there must be activity. In this regard, production is the driver behind diversification and can be seen as a catalyst to maximize the multiplier effects on the value chain. There are three aspects of production that must work in unison. These are: 1. To produce more, thereby increasing exploration and production activity, and 2. To produce efficiently, to save money, and 3. Government incentives to encourage more investments. We will briefly discuss these aspects. When operators produce more, there is economic growth, since this generates business for companies and employment for oil and gas workers and the wider population. This must be considered important, since service companies depend on the operators' activities to sustain themselves. As such, service companies must develop the mindset to help operators save money, rather than simply providing a product or service. Service companies are now charged with the responsibility to do more and go beyond what was once considered the norm, especially since operators seek to contract companies who specialize in their respective field of work in order to maximize profits and to become more efficient, with the view of operating at the minimum operating costs. The operator's success depends on the support received from service companies, since the operator themselves may not possess the relevant expertise required for certain activities in the exploration and production activities. Here's an example. A good and successful manager who manages to get high performance from his or her team does not need to be an expert in each subject, but rather being able to work collaboratively with his or her employees and knowing how to motivate as well as give them the space to maximize their true potential. The manager also assists his or her employees to grow through developing them to reach their true potential. To produce efficiently. Imagine an oil and gas sector that translates the manager-employee relationship to the operator-service company relationship. This will not only enable the operators to realize their corporate goals, which is to operate at minimum cost, but will also assist them to operate more efficiently. If this happens, operators can execute their projects within the budget, and in some instances, depending on how well they collaborate together, may even execute their projects under the planned budget. Now, this can lead to opportunities. For instance, the operator may be able to budget for executing 3 projects instead of 2. Another important factor is for the government to play their part by providing government incentives that are attractive to operators from a financial perspective, as well as the ease of doing business. Once these 2 factors are provided to operators, it will assist in stimulating additional funding by the operators, who may now expand their exploration and production activities. With regards to the ease of doing business, while it is important to have a proper local content policy enforced, the government must be able to manage this in a way as to not compromise efficiency. Oil and gas operations is a highly specialized industry. As such, both operators and service companies need support to be able to manage their workforce in such a way as to adhere to the local content regulations, as well as to have sufficient persons in their respective operations with the necessary experience and qualifications to sustain the operation in order for it to run efficiently. If the right balance is not struck here, the production may suffer, and as we discussed earlier, lead to inefficiency and high operating costs, which will translate to less exploration and drilling activities, and this would become counterproductive in relation to this topic. The maximization of the multiplier effects of the value chain. Taking into account all that we have discussed so far, the multiplier effects of the value chain can be maximized and the possibilities are endless. For example, consider a school being opened in a community. The school would firstly need to be constructed. This provides the opportunity for local construction contractors to get business and also create employment for members of the community. Once the school is completed, it needs to be suited with teaching staff, which also creates employment for members of the community. Then, it provides the children of the community access to education, which will serve as the foundation for them to make themselves become marketable and be able to acquire employment for themselves. Then, the school children require school books and uniforms, which provides the opportunity for the establishment of bookstores within the community. This then creates the need for establishment to support the school and the students by providing print services. Additionally, in order to help students to prepare for exams, members within the community can provide extracurricular classes, better known as lessons. And because you have so much individuals now at the school, the need arises for food establishments. And within this value chain, there is still room for new and innovative services that can assist in making life easier for both the school and the students. If we translate this concept into the oil and gas value chain, you can have an idea of how the maximization of the multiplier effects of the value chain can work. Firstly, It creates more exploration and production activities, which means that companies will have more continuous work. There will also be larger quantities of oil and gas to be exported, which means more revenue for government, companies, and employees. Secondly, it raises the need for the creation of new products and services through innovative thinking and creativity, which will allow operators to produce more efficiently, thereby providing the opportunity to increase their activities. Here, new companies can emerge to support the value chain. The opportunities here are endless, but this completely depends on individuals to be innovative and creative. I would like to end by reiterating three aspects of the topic: diversification, production, and the value chain. Firstly, in terms of diversification, it enables the creation of new products and services to support the value chain and impact it by allowing each member of the value chain to realize cost savings or reduce operating costs. This allows the operator the opportunity to plan for more activities. Secondly, in terms of production, it enables the members throughout the value chain to operate more efficiently. When operators can operate more efficiently, it can lead to them being able to budget for more projects because of the cost factor involved. For example, the cost savings realized in execution of each project. But this can only be done through the operator-service company collaboration. This allows the operator the opportunity to plan for more activities. Additionally, with the right government intervention regarding the ease of doing business, the members of the value chain will be able to manage their workforce in such a way as to have suitable individuals and companies with the necessary qualifications and experience to sustain smooth and efficient operations throughout the value chain, which will translate into cost savings and serve as an incentive for operators and service companies alike to plan more activities. Lastly, the end result of the maximization of the multiplier effects of the value chain must translate into the creation of new products, services, and employment. But in order to realize this, all that was discussed needs to be embraced by all and by everyone working together in order for the oil and gas sector to not only survive, but to stimulate economic growth. Thank you, and do enjoy the rest of the conference.